Hello, and welcome to Instant Insights. I am George Trotter, and today I'll be speaking to Thomas Pothalingam, who is an analyst at Global Data and specialises in the battery sector. Hi Thomas, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you, George?
Very well, thank you. Very well. So let's get started. You're about to deliver a webinar titled Batteries, the 21st Century's All Barrels. This is a really interesting angle because we know batteries are absolutely essential to many countries' ESG aspirations and are increasingly prevalent due to the current energy transition megatrend. Companies like Tesla, Samsung SDI, Panasonic, and many of the largest automotive companies are particularly present in public discourse surrounding batteries. But we might not have heard of some of the largest and most active battery companies like Cattle, BYD, and many others. So basically, today we'll try and answer the question, what is happening in the batteries industry? So for the first question, I remember back in July, our very own Isabel Aldahir spoke here at Instant Insights as we discussed critical minerals, their availability, and how they could mould the numerous industries that rely on them. I want first to ask you, how will the availability of critical minerals affect the battery industry?
Well, natural resources are crucial to technological development, and that extends to the batteries industry. The market size of key energy transition minerals needed for batteries has doubled in the last 5 years to $320 billion in 2022, and it used to be a much smaller segment of the mining industry. Mining is fundamentally linked to the batteries industry as the availability of critical minerals required to make batteries determines the number of batteries that can be produced. This means that there is potential for significant supply chain bottlenecks. The main elements in the largest proportion of batteries that we focus on are lithium, cobalt, nickel, and graphite. And lithium will likely be the most in-demand metal in the battery industry for the foreseeable future.
Right, okay. So if the resource availability is particularly important, are we seeing lots of investment in the mining facilities and the battery factories globally?
The question dominating battery companies' thoughts right now will be around the ready availability of battery materials, given the growing competition to secure these critical minerals and the public pressure to scale cheaper, longer life, cleaner, and more recyclable batteries. Despite lithium's global abundance, investment is needed in new hard rock mines and brine fields to meet this rampant demand. To combat this, however, the industry is currently investing significantly in exploration, with lithium leading with a 90% spending increase.
90%, really? I guess this is required though, as we're seeing an unfolding lithium shortage at the moment. As batteries themselves are a part of tackling climate change, does this mean these mines are becoming cleaner too?
So the mining industry does fall in the category of a conventionally dirty and dangerous industry. Cobalt mining in the Democratic Republic of Congo is known for its use of artisan miners who tend to be poorly paid, work in unsafe conditions, and are often underage. Some change is starting to appear. The battery industry is undergoing a shift away from the use of cobalt towards nickel, which is more abundant overall and crucially geographically dispersed rather than concentrated in one country or region. In addition, the extraction of lithium and nickel can be very, very water intensive. So some mines are also turning to direct lithium extraction, which allows for 94% of water use to be recycled.
Great, thank you. You mentioned the significance of electric vehicles in the battery industry. Are there factors in that space that could limit its impact on the whole industry itself?
Okay, so we can say that without doubt, EVs are the dominant end use for lithium-ion batteries. Nevertheless, there are factors affecting EVs that could limit their potential uptake. Difficulties with range, the absence of charging stations, and issues around factory production will undermine the transition to a lower carbon emitting light vehicle transport. A relaxation in tax incentives for new EVs, as seen in Norway, could also undermine uptake. The extent of these factors, however, remain to be seen.
Yeah, true. So Thomas, are there other battery technologies that could disrupt the industry's status quo that we should be watching out for?
So solid state batteries and sodium technology, just a few of the emerging technologies that can be expected in the world of batteries. Both technologies will affect the efficiency, weight, temperature tolerance, safety, range, life cycle, and sustainability of batteries. We could also discuss ultracapacitors, hydrogen fuel cells, thermal energy storage systems, and much more.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of some of these. The ones that I've heard most about are solid state batteries and sodium technology. Can you go into more detail on these?
Sure. So solid state technologies typically use ceramics and solid polymers in their electrodes instead of the liquids and polymer gels currently used in lithium-ion batteries. As a result, they reduce batteries' flammability and their liability to short circuit, alongside substantially increasing the number of charging cycles a battery can handle over its life. It's a difficult technology to commercialize, which is the drive for many investing organizations now. Silicon, along with graphene, is the favored solid state material of the future. And silicon atoms can theoretically store 10 times more lithium than carbon atoms, resulting in a much higher energy density. Sodium ion batteries are expected to begin circulation before the end of the year, 2023. They are a cheaper, although less power dense alternative to lithium ion batteries. Making sodium batteries has multiple benefits. It's over 100 times more abundant than lithium, it's cheaper to extract and purify, and more structurally stable.
God, 100 times. Wow. I'm afraid it looks like we're coming to the end of this Instant Insights episode. So just time for one final question. Can you give our listeners any insight into the battery recycling market and why it matters to so many companies and countries today?
So battery recycling is important from multiple standpoints. Fundamentally, the recycling of battery materials and components will increase the sustainability of the industry drastically and reduce reliance on raw material extraction. If we can reproduce batteries from 100% recycled materials, one would expect knock-on consequences of fewer mines, fewer miners, reduced energy and water usage, and lower carbon emissions. For the US and other countries, so currently reluctantly reliant on China for material processing and extraction, recycling is duly beneficial as it will create new, more sustainable sources of battery materials and undermine China's dominance in extraction and processing.
Amazing. Thank you so much for those instant insights. Thomas will be discussing the batteries industry and the key trends affecting it in an upcoming webinar on the 16th of November. Thomas will be joined by myself and Oliver Pechnik from the Global Data Automotive team. The link to this webinar can be found in the episode description. Thanks for listening, and from us, Informatica Intelligence, see you next time.